Hello. My name is Chris. I run the Chris J Productions YouTube channel. I'm trying something a little different for this video, where I am doing a series of speed paints from my collection on Procreate. And I'll be talking intermittently throughout the whole video about Howl's Moving Castle. So I won't be talking the whole time, so there'll be some background music in the back, but I hope you do enjoy. And let's get on with the show. Howl's Moving Castle is a movie that was originally released in Japan, made by Studio Ghibli, which everyone knows by now is one of the better known anime/animation studios around, co-founded by Hayao Miyazaki. as many people know, Miyazaki is a animator and director at Studio Ghibli who has come out of retirement a number of times to create new films, such as the last film created, The Boy and the Heron, which is not his final film anymore. He has already come out of retirement for a new film, with the title being unreleased. So, for the reason that Studio Ghibli is so popular with everyone is that it romanticizes everyday life, but also the art style is a mixture of Western animation style where it's Disney-esque, but also it has the feeling and look of a Japanese anime. The original storyline was written by Diane Wayne Jones and then adapted by Miyazaki for screen. It was released at least in the States in 2004 with a PG rating and an IMDb rating of 8.2 out of 10. The English dub cast for Howl's Moving Castle includes Christian Bale as Howl, Josh Hutcherson as Markle, Gene Simmons as the older version of Sophie. Some of the other actors that are background actors are Richard Hurwitz, who in this movie on IMDb is listed as playing himself, but in the credits is just a background character, and many other actors along with him. The movie itself is based in a country where it is war-torn between another country, and Howl, one of our main protagonists, it plays a wizard. Wizard that is goes by many names: Pendragon, Wizard Howl, etc. And this is a love story, but also a story of strife between the countries. To go back to the book, there are some differences. While I have not read the entire book, some differences include that Markle, which is the name of the apprentice of Howl in the movie, is not Markle, but Michael. And Sophie actually has two sisters, not one, where in the movie we only see Lottie at the bakery. through my research that I did for this project, I found how the backgrounds are made by one of the actual Studio Ghibli background artists. They are all mostly hand painted with paper that is called Muse TMK Special Thick Paper. It helps to absorb the water, the paint they use, and allows the water to seep in better and not warp as much. So the actual paint that these background artists use is called Nicker poster paint. I've heard people compare it as an in-between of watercolor and gouache. It is a traditional Japanese painting supply. Another thing that was mentioned in the video, which I will have linked down below, is that the paper was prepped with a peg system and it was coated in water so it would not leave brushstrokes. To go more in depth about the Nicker paint, I would have to suggest a video which I am going to link down below. It is another painter that tries out these poster paints. He creates a painting with them and gives a full review, which is how I was actually introduced to these paints in the first place. Another technique that was used to limit the brushstrokes was to use a wide stroke brush. So this is if I remember correctly, the bristles were short, but it was wide enough to coat the paper in one or two goes. And to get the Studio Ghibli cloud effect, they use what I would call reverse or remove painting. So they would paint in the background solid and go with a clean brush, removing paint, added the cloud texture in white. now to what I'd like to call my favorite part is my personal opinion about the movie. Howl's Moving Castle has been my favorite movie since my freshman year of college. Uh, mainly for the storyline and mainly for the storyline and the characters. One of my favorite characters in this movie is Calcifer, not only because of the acting that the actor does, but I think it's extremely relatable to anyone who watches the movie. It's kind of like a grumpy teenager forced to do whatever. Another thing I like about this movie is that the character development that Sophie, our main character, goes through from the beginning to end. In the beginning, she acts as if she is an old lady, even though she is about in her 20s. She stays home, doesn't go out, and the other ladies at the hat shop think of her as an old lady. But as she progresses through the movie, living life as an older woman, she she realizes that she wasn't living life to her fullest. There is a moment in the movie where Howl finds Sophie sleeping and doesn't see the old woman that everyone else does, but sees Sophie as he did early in the movie, realizing what the curse that the Witch of the Waste put on her was. all in all, I think that this movie is my favorite animated movie because it was my first experience into Studio Ghibli. Before my freshman year, I'd only ever heard of it. I've never watched any. But since my freshman year, I've watched other Studio Ghibli movies such as Secret Life of Ariete, Kiki's Delivery Service, Spirited Away, and many more. So I hope to grow my knowledge of Studio Ghibli. I would like to thank everyone who stayed for the video. I know it was much longer than my usual videos. My usual videos range from anywhere to 30 seconds to a minute. I'm a new animator, so some of these things come with time. Anything that I have mentioned in this video will be linked down below in the description. I do hope you smack that like button and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have a good evening, morning, afternoon, or night.